Welcome back to Cigar Time, your friendly Tuesday evening cigar show. I'm going to introduce our panel one more time. This is show 2, in case you haven't met everybody or remember everybody from last week. I'm Art. They often call me the Ash Man. To my right is Rob.
How you doing?
To his right is John, also known as Cigar Max.
Hi, guys.
Uncle Max, something Max. Just don't call him late for dinner. To his right, in from the fields, did you stop sweating yet?
No, I'm still sweating.
Is Paul, who's sweating from the field. More about that later. To his right is Mike.
Hi, everyone.
To his right is old Baldy, Scott. To his right is the luscious, vivacious Miss Tia.
Hi.
Wait, did you say hi?
I said
No
hi.
way.
And Miss Tia is going to describe the cigar we're going to smoke and review today.
Okay, today we're going to be smoking a CLE Corojo. The wrapper is a Honduran Corojo, the binder is a Honduran, and the filter is a Honduran. So would that make it a Honduran Puro?
It is
It
Honduran.
was. It's a filtered Honduran. It's a filter, yeah.
It's not a
remember,
filter, it's the
Filler.
filler.
I said
Fil-
filler.
no.
I
You
said
said
filter?
filter.
Uh-huh.
Sorry,
And
it's
you also
a
said
filler.
Honduran.
I was so on the Honduran Puro.
Or
I
otherwise
forgot
known
about-
as
Honduran.
tripa.
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 So it
Cali
comes in
Tripa.
various sizes.
Can we light these
Ripple.
now?
Can I talk about the sizes?
No,
Go ahead.
not yet, after we...
So we have
Yes,
various
size matters.
sizes of Corojo. Wait, see how you got me all mixed up now? Corona, Robusto, Toro, and my favorite, the Gordo.
I wonder what.
Now, the taste profile is very earthy with some coffee notes, and it leads to a vanilla finish.
Very
Thank you for letting me blunder that.
You're welcome.
Well, you're
Hey.
very welcome. And that was very enlightening, and we appreciate
Thank
your
you.
just vivacious description of that luscious cigar.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's
Can we
you.
like these?
That's me, not the
What?
cigar.
Time to smoke yet?
Yeah,
Take
come on.
it easy. If you want to enjoy a cigar, you need to slow it down a little bit. Relax. Remember, a cigar is to be treasured and enjoyed.
Okay.
I want to get to the enjoyment.
And I will give the signal. Gentlemen and ladies, cut and light your cigar.
Okay.
Thank you.
While we're cutting and lighting,
You
does
can grab my
anybody,
cutter.
does anybody know what CLE stands for?
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure you're going to tell us. I know, but I want to
No,
just
I
test
wanted
you
you
and
to-
see if you know.
Oh, I think it
Christian
stands for
Luis.
Christian Luis Iroa.
It does.
And for those of you who don't know, he is the former owner of Camacho,
Camacho Cigars, that's correct.
Isn't
but
there,
not anymore.
I thought there was also the 1118 size in this cigar.
There is.
Well,
It's kind of like a perfecto.
yeah, it's something like
It's
that.
it's like
Yeah.
a thin
It's not
Solomon.
on the card, so no, it doesn't exist.
But there is
Sorry.
you're smoking a very unusual size of that cigar. It's called a Corono.
Corojo, yeah, I
A
know.
Corono.
Your
I don't
timer
know,
is
that
ringing.
thing's doing that thing.
Whose timer ring?
You forgot to light me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. As soon as I get lit here, some would say
It's
I've
our
been
first
lit for
topic.
a long time.
We're not drinking the right stuff to get lit, though.
Yeah.
I think we should cover our first topic, which is the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration.
Bad
And,
guys. Yeah, vote.
and I think I'm going to let Scott, take the initial lead on that.
What do you want me to say about the FDA?
Well, say what
Not
hasn't
much.
already been said. Nothing
It's all-
good.
Yeah, nothing good. It's all been said. They are, continuing to get into our lives. They are proposing to regulate tobacco. Well, they've been regulating tobacco, and now they want to get more involved in regulating cigars. They're starting off with the flavored cigars, but they're looking to get more involved with the premium cigars. It's really in an effort to, stop smoking among children.
Well, that's a good idea.
Well, it is, but you know what?
I don't think that's what it's really about.
It's about money.
It's about money. Children, nobody gets into our stores.
No.
And maybe we're unique. I don't know.
No,
but
but
nobody
we-
gets into these stores.
But we
until
are
they're
unique.
18.
There's a lot of small neighborhood like grocery stores and fast markets and stuff like that, where the enforcement of the no tobacco to minors rules are not evenly enforced.
It's true.
But then that
That
should
was
be
very
on that
diplomatic.
store.
Yeah, I
should
try to be
be-
diplomatic.
So then the rest of us have to suffer because a grocery store
some
can't
people-
regulate this.
Exactly.
Well, because our stores, or at least 6 of them in Pennsylvania, for us to have a license to allow our customers to smoke in our stores, We're not allowed to let children in the stores at all,
Not
period.
even allowed
End
to
of
enter if
story.
you're 18 or if you're under 18.
And if you look under 27, we have to card you.
That's true.
Every time,
Every,
not just the first time. That's because of the Every Clean Air time. Act of September
Yeah.
11th, 2008.
Something like that.
And that's even if they're with their parents.
That's right, can't allow them in.
Come in with your parents and.
Hey, you know something? That's a good thing. You know why? Because the more we can do to be good citizens, as opposed to trying to foist it over on the government, you don't win trying to put one over on the government, believe
No.
me. I
But
know.
it's not just about banning the flavors. I have a list here of what they're considering putting, regulations on and banning. So they're thinking of banning walk-in humidors.
That's not true. That's not true.
Okay, they said
Well,
it was
this is-
considering.
there was a whole
Unfortunately-
scare
Considering.
campaign.
It was.
Yeah,
going
this
The
is-
FDA never It's not- released that.
No.
That was
To
released
raise,
by
to
somebody
raise
else.
money, certain special interest groups are trying to scare the bread and butter, brick and mortar stores into contributing money to fight, so their existence continues, and their existence is not necessarily to the good of
But
brick and mortar.
why would they say anything about that then? That has
Well,
something to do with
very
them.
simply put, a common sense approach would be the Family Friendly and Smoking Prevention Act allows for smoking, by buying smokes rather, in a vending machine or in freestanding displays, as long as the store is an adults-only establishment. So if they're going to allow the sale of cigarettes in vending machines and freestanding displays and smokeless tobacco, why would one think that they're going to force premium cigars, which are the polar opposite of what's...
But
But
the
isn't that a
ones where the-
Pennsylvania thing?
Yeah, and.
Which
and-
one is a Pennsylvania?
The 18 to even enter a store, that's
Well,
a
you-
Pennsylvania.
No,
Yeah, no, that is to enter the store, but that doesn't have nothing to do with the PAC Act.
The PACT Act, Prevent All Cigarette Trafficking, that act, which was passed 4 years ago, expressly allows for freestanding displays and even vending machines of cigarettes in stores that are strictly over 18 years old.
That's them trying to scare people.
But when you look at the self-standing, like the vending machines with cigarettes, where are they at?
They're in bars.
They're in bars.
Adult-only
Exactly.
establishments.
Exactly.
And that's what we are. Guess what in Pennsylvania? We are an adults-only facility.
Yeah,
We
I mean,
get in, so
We have the
there's no
same,
reason.
when it comes to tobacco, we have the same legal standing as a bar which strictly caters to adults has. So, we're not gonna be impacted by anything that, keeps children out of the store. As a matter of fact, I, for one, and I'm sure I speak for all of us, are all in favor of keeping kids away from tobacco.
Absolutely.
Just like you'd be in favor of keeping kids away from drinking alcohol. I mean, it's the same, it's
Well,
like-
It's common
ban
sense, like you
flavored
said.
alcohol. It doesn't make any sense. I mean,
Well, don't
they're-
try, the
Hey, trying to make
alcohol,
sense
I'm just
of the
saying.
government?
the alcohol lobby is far more powerful than the tobacco lobby,
I
except when it
understand
comes
that,
to the
but
very
their
large.
point is not taken if they're saying the reason why we want to get rid of flavors is because more children are smoking. So then why wouldn't you get rid of?
Yeah, but here's the problem. Here's what works against the industry. Since 2008, when the bans on mail-order cigarettes and smokeless tobacco went into effect, the sales of cigarettes have dropped by a pretty significant margin, and the sales of cigars have gone up hundreds and hundreds of percent. Not these cigars.
No, the flavor.
The flavored, the inexpensive, the grape and the cherry and the strawberry and the
Domestic-
pineapple.
The chocolate.
mass-produced cigars
And that's the unfortunate thing is these
Get lumped in.
premium cigars get lumped in with everything else. And the only
Right.
similarity they have is tobacco. And even that's suspect in the flavored stuff.
And actually, our end of the business is the smallest
Oh,
end of
nothing,
the tobacco
minute.
business.
It's a
It's-
4% of the
it's
total.
minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very, very minute.
And this is an adult product. Children aren't looking to smoke this
No.
specific cigar. It's too expensive for most kids.
Right.
And the other thing is, nobody's ever proven the cigars are addictive.
Okay.
Well,
but
now
I
that
think
brings up an
That's
interesting
an
topic.
interesting point, yeah.
Yeah. I think T wanted to say
think
something.
if they ban flavors, then people will start moving to the heavier premium cigars, something different. People want that
There's a
smoke.
cost qualifier.
Doesn't
Yeah.
matter. You can still buy. It doesn't matter.
I thought
If
so.
somebody wants to smoke, they're gonna smoke, regardless if it's flavored or not.
Yeah.
That may be true, but I think I read somewhere that one of the reasons they're focusing on flavors is because they see that children smoking the flavors and that it's a bridge to cigarettes and bigger cigars.
A
And
gateway drug.
And it is I have so many people come into the store that say they're using cigars to stop smoking cigarettes,
Right.
which they inhale. And I believe it is the exact opposite of what they think.
Well, let's deal with the reality. The reality of it is that the world is against smoking,
Period.
period. And anything that looks like a smoke, smokes like a smoke, and has
E-cigarettes.
smoke coming out, e-cigarettes. Prime
We're trying to
example.
ban those too.
Anything
It's
that is a
steam.
They're
nicotine
trying to ban
delivery
those
system.
online.
Anything it appears to be. I'm
No, no, no,
surprised
e-cigs.
I'm surprised they're not banning pretzel sticks because they look like a
That's a
cigar.
$1 billion industry.
What, the pretzel sticks
Pretzel
or the
sticks?
e-cigarettes?
Only
The
salted.
e-cigarettes.
Unsalted is much smaller.
I think if you consider that the government does not want, anything that delivers nicotine to come into our hands and into our body, that's what they want. And what the government generally wants, in the end of the day, the government generally gets.
But the funny thing is, just recently, they made it easier for people to get nicotine patches.
Yeah, they took it off the prescription list.
You can just go in and buy
Buy
them.
them over the
Yeah,
counter now.
yeah, because in their minds, that helps people quit smoking cigarettes.
Okay.
We'll
Is
go.
there an
Well,
age
if you
limit
take
on-
the
is
way,
there an
that's
age
the
limit on
angle.
buying
Cigars
nicotine
help
packs?
people quit smoking
Well,
cigarettes.
now
too.
that's the point I was trying to make before. People that smoke premium cigars, and they smoke them in moderation. There's that old word, moderation.
Actually,
What
we
a
should make
I wouldn't know.
a distinction between what we're talking about a premium cigar versus what we call also a domestic cigar,
Yeah.
which is the stuff you're going to find in a Walgreens, Wawa, stuff like that.
Can't name any
Mass-produced,
brands.
Mass-produced,
machine
made.
made.
Inexpensive
Yeah,
machine
batch
made,
We won't name-
Masters,
oh,
Phillies.
you can name brands?
where we sell 99%, handmade
Handmade,
cigars.
yeah.
Yeah, and there's nothing in this except for tobacco and a
Vegetable
little bit
paste.
of vegetable paste.
Yeah, I mean, it's,
whole-
All natural.
they're, to me, pretty good proof that an occasional cigar smoker relieves stress, relaxes, enjoys his camaraderie, maybe a nice drink or so, and I think this adds years to your life. And to prove the point, most of the elders in the cigar business live well into their 80s and 90s and usually die at their desk smoking with a cigar in their hands. The point I'm trying to make is, no one I can think of in our industry who would run a cigar company that we've heard of has ever died young.
One of the leading causes of heart disease is stress.
Stress.
Or,
Stress is
or
the-
hypertension.
Yes.
And which is stress. And what do most cigar smokers say they
Absolutely.
report is that they do it to
Absolutely.
relieve stress. They're relaxed. So can't you make an argument that doctors should prescribe cigars?
I'll go a step
Well,
farther.
it's just like
Hang on.
pills that have side effects,
Scott,
so.
you should know that recent research indicates that smoking cigars in moderation is actually highly beneficial for Alzheimer's.
I should know that. I probably knew that once. I think I forgot.
did,
You
but I
forgot.
yeah.
You forgot.
Smoke another cigar, Scott. That'll help.
Yeah, then you'll remember.
I think I put that one to rest, though.
What do you have to say, Max?
I think the subject's been covered well enough.
Well, and you're proof positive. Look at you.
Look at, yeah.
And
You're
your
still-
age.
Yeah, your age.
No one would, we're
Still-
not allowed to discuss your age on the air because we would probably get in trouble with the senior citizens.
Well, we can't prove it. So.
Well,
He can't find his birth
He
certificate.
doesn't have
It's
the long-term,
fossilized. His birth certificate is
long-form birth
fossilized.
certificate.
He has a birth certificate. It's on papyrus.
We have to
That's
go,
dumb.
we have to
Social
dig for
Security
it. We
number
have to
is one.
dig for
It's
it.
in, it's in cuneiform.
I think it's,
All right, all right.
I think it's safe to assume that John is younger than the mountains and older than the wind. And we'll just
Leave it at
leave
that.
it,
The
leave it
mountains
at
came
that.
before the
fine.
wind.
I want to thank everybody. I think that was a great discussion about what I can't remember.
John's
I
age.
think early onset, and I think it's time to move on.
You need to smoke some more cigars.
We reviewed this,
I
baby,
guess,
aren't
I
we?
guess we should sell something here. How about we just sell ourselves?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. If you want us to continue doing
I'm
these
not cheap,
shows,
but I can
please,
be
no
handy.
fruit up on the stage or vegetables. You need to go to our stores. We have 7 stores in the Philadelphia metropolitan area, and those stores are located in,
Reading, Colmar, Horsham, Phoenixville, Oxford Valley,
Freehold, New
Westchester,
Jersey.
New Jersey. Westchester, New Jersey.
He grew up
I grew up in Westchester.
No wonder he's
Westchester
working
and
here.
Freehold,
Hi,
New
Mom.
Jersey.
and to find out where all the stores are not only located far clearer than
Oh,
you
here
just
it
heard
comes.
just now,
Here it comes.
we want you to go to our website, and our website is cccigars.com. That's
CCCigars.com.
Rhubarb.
Okay, this is the part of the show where
Everybody takes a nap.
everybody takes it up, yes. This is where we put on our boots and we go out with Paul into the field and pick up where you left off last week.
Okay, folks, if you remember from last week, where we left off was piling up huge piles of the leaves in order to start fermentation.
2,500 pounds, I believe you said.
2,500 pounds per pile, or in Spanish, they call them pilones.
Pilons.
As opposed to Gomer.
Gomer pilones?
Gomer
Yeah.
pile.
Gomer pile. Wow. My hat's too tight.
We didn't promise comedy fans.
Pizza
Anyway,
Pie.
if you think of a compost heap, those piles of tobacco are exactly the same thing.
It's funny, I go to bed at night just dreaming about that.
Well,
Compost heaps.
smoking.
Well, I do, and then I wake up wanting to smoke some.
At 1 in the morning.
We smoke compost? Is that what
At
you're
1
saying?
in the
Yeah,
morning.
we all smoke compost and enjoy every inch of it. The tobacco is alive. Even though it's picked off the plant, there are microorganisms that are living on it. It's organic, it's chemically active, there are things going on. Then when you pile up a bunch of it together, it begins to ferment. And what that means is some of the microorganisms are eating the starches in the tobacco and turning them into sugar. That means you're developing flavor and getting rid of the chemicals that you don't like that occur naturally in tobacco. So what happens is that pile of tobacco begins to heat up by itself from the inside out. The amount that you let it ferment and the temperature you let it get to has a dramatic effect on the flavor of the tobacco. And that's a judgment call that the master tobacco guy will make as to how long he wants to ferment that particular tobacco.
What does he use to make that? Does it depend on the intended use of that tobacco, or?
What the flavor profile is that they want to extract from it and how stout they want it to be physically are the two factors that affect
Generally
that.
speaking, how hot do they let it get on the internal temperature?
Usually between 110 and 120 degrees.
Okay. And
Not really hot, but pretty hot.
then I'm assuming you're going to talk about what happens after it gets to that temperature.
Well, yes, I am. I mentioned last week that dealing with the tobacco in the barns was labor intensive. Dealing with the tobacco during fermentation is even more labor intensive, because every time that pile of tobacco reaches the target temperature, what they have to do is take every one of those hands of tobacco out of the pile, shake it off, spray it with a little water or sometimes a mix of juices called Bethune. We'll come back to Bethune later, but they spray it and cool it off,
Back to Bethune.
Back to the two.
and they rebuild the pile inside out. So the leaves that were on the outside of the pile are now in the middle and vice versa. A decent-sized tobacco fermentation operation might have as many as 200 or 300 of these piles. So we're talking about a huge amount of tobacco that every few days has to be completely taken apart, shaken out, sprayed down, and rebuilt. And that happens over and over. That could happen for as long as 5 or 10 years, depending on the tobacco.
Then what makes them stop? Stop the fermentation process and building the heat up?
What makes them stop?
I mean, what makes the tobacconist decide, I'm not going to do this?
When the moisture and temperature are stable, balanced, and the flavor of the tobacco is where they want it to be.
And they find that out by, they'll take a leaf off and they'll wrap it around a partially made cigar and smoke it and see what that flavor tastes like.
Or, and you might have seen pictures of this, they'll take one leaf and they'll set that one leaf on fire and just sort of sniff the smoke and let it blow over them.
You see
and-
lots of cigar company ads doing that.
Yeah.
Again, it looks good in the ads.
It does.
It looks even better in person.
Smells
So, the fermentation process is absolutely central to how a cigar is ultimately going to taste. And it's one of the places where the judgment of the people creating the cigar has the greatest impact. So fermentation is truly, truly important. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I was, just gonna stop you right there because don't want
Says
to.
what to talk about in fermentation.
Well, in fermentation, there really isn't anything else to
Okay,
say.
well, never mind.
Yeah, that's why
Go
I
ahead.
wanted to break there. Paul, I salute you. Thank you very much for that electrifying description.
Back to the field. No.
Yeah, get back out there.
And tune in again next week for another rendition of Back in the Field. I think we should cover our next topic. I think our next topic should be, what do you drink with a cigar?
As much as you can.
I knew somebody was going to say that,
I think we
especially
should
this
start
time.
with you.
Oh, start with me?
Yeah.
I like a good port. When I have a nice, I like a tawny port. So I kind of like a medium to a little heavier bodied cigar with a tawny port.
Which port do you like? Which brands do you like the best?
I like Fonseca
Aha.
Wow.
because it rhymes with a cigar.
Yeah.
But I find that to be a nice port, moderately priced. I mean, it's not a killer on the wallet, and it has a nice taste to me. And occasionally, I like Sambuca.
Ah,
In your
one
co-
with
in
the-
your coffee?
I would not
No, I
have
like
guessed.
Sambuca with a cigar on
Not
the
have
rocks.
guessed.
yeah, I wouldn't have guessed that either.
I would not have guessed
Yeah,
that
me
one.
neither.
On the rocks with two coffee beans in the bottom.
Right.
What other
And,
skeletons you got in your closet?
And very rare occasions, like I could count on one hand, a little tequila with, I guess it's the agave, it's not actually tequila, it's a
Right.
dead scorpion in the bottom of the bottle.
That's
you're talking about the real stuff.
Mezcal.
Mezcal, I'm sorry. What do I know? I'm not a drinker. So that's what I like.
Rob?
I like Jack Daniels when I smoke a cigar. Just something about it. Sit back with a nice Jack Daniels, 3 fingers of Jack Daniels, nice cigar, listen to a Phillies game or something.
Oh. Not this year.
Not this year, but
Or
yeah,
something.
Or something. That's what I like to drink with it. Max?
Well, Uncle
Uh-oh,
Max
be
is,
prepared, this is gonna be a long one.
Yeah.
now, I like a good beer or ale. In the summer, I tend to go towards a lighter scotch, and all year round, a good port like Art.
Paul?
With cigars, I'm a big fan of fine rums.
Ah,
Because rum comes from the same places
Yeah.
that cigars come from, and they just naturally go together
Light
as
or
far as
dark?
I'm concerned. Dark.
Dark
oh,
rum?
yeah.
Yeah, definitely dark rum.
Now, don't say anything, Mike. I think I know yours. Sarsaparilla.
There we go. He knows me.
The odd couple.
Barilla?
No, I like a nice peaty port. Let me skip on peaty scotch.
Yeah, Pete.
Everybody talk about port, got me on a nice.
I've never
nice.
had that.
I used to have peaty.
Oh, that was Peter Puck.
A nice peaty scotch, or or a cup of coffee. I'm really fond of cigars and coffee. As
God?
you can tell.
I'm not big on the alcohol with cigars. I'm not a big alcohol drinker, although I do have to agree with the port. Nothing like I like a nice vintage port. Dow, Fonseca, Sandeman are fantastic, but usually, I think my favorite thing would be coffee.
Oh, okay.
Or Diet Coke.
Yeah, high class guy.
Brings out the
It's got a high
flavor of the
class.
tobacco.
Miss Tia?
Tequila.
Why did I know this?
The only liquor I drink is tequila.
Oh,
Patron, but
Of
we're
course.
saying names.
well, that's
With
okay.
or without lime?
With lime, with sugar around the rim. No salt.
Well, I want to thank you all for sharing your thoughts on booze and cigars,
Yeah.
or sarsaparilla and Diet
Coffee.
Coke, or whatever.
Coffee.
I think it's time to review our CLE Corojo today, and I'll let Miss Tia lead it off.
I like the construction. The band is kind of cute. The box is definitely something that would catch. I love the band. The box is something that would definitely catch my eye for me to want to buy this cigar. As far as the flavor profiles, it's pretty good. It's a medium body to me. Pretty smooth, not as harsh as the previous cigar we smoked last week. So I like this cigar. It's okay.
Okay. Scott?
I would classify it as more of a medium, between medium and medium full, especially with all the Corojo. I thoroughly enjoyed this. I had one last night, and I'm liking this one better. I had a different size. I like the Robusto. Nice burn, good construction, and I'm getting a very distinct, like a burnt coffee flavor from it that it's really enjoyable.
Is that burnt taste?
I think John burnt the coffee.
Yeah.
Mike?
Well, When I first started smoking these cigars, I didn't think I was going to enjoy them as much as I
Yeah.
did. I thought it was going to be a little bit too much, just knowing Christian Cigars and how he makes cigars. But I enjoy this cigar. It's probably on the fuller end of my taste, but it's a very good cigar. It's not overpowering, but it has a lot of flavor and it's a lot of spice. But it's good. I enjoy it.
Paul?
Well, I like the cigar a lot. You know, Christian and his family are the originators of using Corojo outside of Cuba, and they probably know more about processing and blending Corojo than anybody else on the planet, and I think it shows in this cigar. I think they've done an excellent job. It's got a lot of flavor. It's not too heavy. It leaves you the room to taste the complexity of the cigar, and I think that's as good as it gets.
I think it's a lot smoother than I thought it would be originally.
Yeah. John?
I like the cigar, but it's not an everyday smoke for me. It has a little too much pepper.
That's true.
Rob?
It does. It does.
As you know, I love Christian. I think he's a great guy.
Yeah, also.
When I first started to smoke this cigar, I was still thinking Camacho,
Yeah.
and I was pleasantly surprised because I'm not a huge Camacho fan, but these cigars are very, very good. I like the cigar. It's very complex. I also get that burnt coffee taste
It's actually
and a little hint of
sweet, too.
vanilla. Yeah,
It's sweet.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very, very nice.
It's
Which is
semi-sweet.
probably why I
I'm
like
very
it.
surprised.
It
I
does
like-
have that sweet
It does have a
profile.
semi-sweet
Yeah.
finish.
Yeah, I
Yes,
like
it
this.
does.
I like this cigars very much.
My 2 cents is I tend to agree with everything that was said on the panel, and I'll just add the following, just based on a little bit of experience, that this cigar will only get better with some box aging.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
This is a cigar that will truly improve with some aging. It's very good now, and don't get me wrong, it's very good, but will only get better.
What's the aging on this one? Is it 1 year? What's the aging on this?
Well,
I think it's 2 years.
2 years?
yeah,
something
but
like
it can
that.
only get better with a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think since we're starting to run a little short of time, we should give it our numerical rating. Ms. Tia?
I'll go 3.75 because of the pepper.
Scott?
4.5.
Mike?
4.
425.
John?
4.
I give it a 4.
I give it a 4.25 because I like what it's going to be.
I'm going to give it this a 3.75 last night.
Well, you
Honestly,
see, so one night of aging
Yeah,
made that much of a difference.
the flavor opened up so much on this size versus the size I had last
What
night.
size did you smoke
I
last
had the
time?
1118, and I love that size.
Yeah, so do I. I like the shape.
What size is 1118
Sports fans,
for?
we got less than a minute left, so
For
I
people that don't
think,
know.
I think, one, we ought to tell everybody to send their comments, go to our website at cccigars.com, that's
CCCigars.com.
Leave your criticism, leave your comments, leave your suggestions, and
Dirty jokes.
tell us what we can do better. We want to hear from you,
Pictures.
and maybe we'll reward you. So with that, I'm going to let everybody say goodbye.
Bye-bye for now.
Goodbye, and don't forget to leave your email and Facebook.
Yes.
Bye. Have a nice evening.
Smoke often and smoke happy.
And remember, it's just another beautiful day in paradise.
Ciao, everybody.
And remember, when you think cigars, think CC Cigars. That's ccccigar.com or Cigar Cigars in any of our 7 locations.
And
Thank
definitely
you very much.
Definitely visit me at the Reading store.
Oh, what a good tempting offer that is.
Yeah.
Thanks again, folks.